Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I am back with Sew the Trends for spring. I am in Covent Garden. I'm about to hit the high street. I'm going to go look in all the shops, check out all the core trends and find great patterns so you guys can sew some great stuff this spring. So yeah, I'm in Covent Garden. I will add that it is raining and feeling not very spring-like this morning. I've got really lovely spring flowers behind me. So I will take you with me and report back. So I'm on Floral Street and I've had a look in quite a lot of the independents. There's some really good things which I've picked up. Everything seems quite muted in terms of colours, but I will now go into some of the high street shops and see what is in there. Right, so I've done all the high street now, most of the independent shops. I think I've got a good idea. Everything, as I said earlier, everything's quite muted. Lots of tea dresses. I'm going to include this time a bit on fabrications as well and colours, because I definitely didn't do that last time. So I am now going to go home, do my research and report back. Hello, I'm back from town. I've done my homework. It's actually the next day because it all took me quite a long time. If you haven't got a cup of tea or a gin and tonic, now is the moment. I think it's going to be quite a long video. I'm going to move through stuff as kind of quickly so that it doesn't go on forever. But I will say there is going to be a blog post, so you can go and have a proper look at everything. It's all going to be laid out nicely. Before I get going on the patterns, I'm going to talk a little bit about colour and fabric, because I definitely had a few comments last time saying it would be really nice if I included that. So I have done that this time. Right, let's start with colour. So this is, I would say, a snapshot of what you can see on the high street. You'll notice that everything is quite muted. Lots of kind of stony creams and tonal colours. Loads and loads of denim colour and lots of kind of black and white. So actually, I think a really nice base for a kind of wardrobe. You can mix and match stuff in with things that you already have. But yes, very much muted. I think it's definitely reflecting the kind of feeling of what's going on in the world at the moment. So colour-wise, we're thinking muted. In terms of fabric, denim was everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean everywhere. You basically can't have too much denim this season. Worn together, I think they call it the Texas tuxedo, where you're in top to bottom denim. But yeah, loads of, and wearing it different colour denims together, as well as kind of block colours and sort of like the And Other Stories ones where you have a matching top and bottom. So yeah, denim is very much on trend this season. Sheer fabrics were everywhere also, in dresses, in tops. You can see here there are a lot of these sort of quite sheer, simple tops that you would wear either with nothing underneath apart from a bra or nothing, or with a tank top underneath like the mango one. So you kind of pick something that's sort of tonally similar. I saw a lot of sheer kind of fabrics. The other one were kind of lacy and lacy sort of holey type fabric. These were mainly in knitwear, stretch fabrics, but they really were kind of a core feature of the high street. I saw them pretty much in every different shop, all quite different, but definitely that kind of, so if you see kind of some interesting jersey, stretchy, holey fabric, that is very much going to be on trend. Right, now we're going to move into patterns. So the first thing that I saw, and this was the only place on the high street that I saw any print with tea dresses, these sort of quite simple V-neck, not sort of vintage feeling, but quite classic in their shape, with a ditzy floral. All of them had a ditzy floral. This seems to be where the only bit of colour was in the whole high street. So I've got three fantastic options. The first one is the named Tyker blouse and dress. This pattern you can see, I'll show you the line drawing. It's a panelled dress. It's got that really lovely kind of 1940s feel with the seam underneath the bust. little pleats into the bust cup and a panelled skirt and really cute little kind of sleeve detail. This to me is a really useful dress. I think you could get loads of wear out, button down the front. Perfect for, you can wear it for an event or you can wear it just onto the beach. So it's a really lovely option. The next pattern that I thought would work really well is the Liberty Beatrix maxi dress. This again has got that lovely deep V. It's a long dress, so you can either make it a little bit shorter if you wanted to, but there were also quite a lot of maxi dresses on the high street. So I think if you made it as was, this would be pretty bang on. This one, let me show you the line drawing so you can have a see what's going on. It's got a split up the front and it's got little pleats on the bust, and then it's got these really lovely bell-shaped sleeves. So I think it's a really beautiful dress, and there's also a sleeveless variation if you're thinking kind of hot summer. That would be a really good option. Last but not least, I put this one in because I thought this was a good option if you're more in the beginner camp, the Pattern Society Margot dress. Let me show you the line drawing, we can have a look what's going on. It's actually very simple in terms of the construction. There's a bust dart and a tie at the waist, and then it's got these kind of flutter sleeves. There are patch pockets which you can put on the front, but I just thought this would be a really good option if you are kind of starting out sewing and you want to make something like this. This probably is the way to go because it's just a bit more simple in terms of the construction. So next up, we've got the short smock. This was everywhere, this shape, that sort of kind of slightly boho feel, cinched in waist, but the thing about it is that they were all quite short. So I had a bit of a look and I've got two options that I think would work quite well. The Helen's Closet March top and dress. If I show you the line drawing, you can see it's got that kind of lovely smock detail. It's got a bibbed front, it's got a gathered waist, and it's got quite a dramatic sleeve. The thing about it I wasn't 100% kind of happy and thought this was not perfect is that it's quite loose around the waist. So if you are looking for something, you'd like something a little bit more fitted around the waist, I thought that the French Navy Fleetwood dress would work perfectly. This has got buttons down the front. You can see it's actually got really interesting seam lines on the top of the dress, and then it's got an option to either have just a straight or kind of flared panel for the skirt, or you can add a gathering tier to add a kind of bit of ruche to it, which I probably would do if I wanted to make it as close to that sort of smock style. But this one, even with the buttons down the front, I feel like it kind of cinches you in a bit more at the waist. Next up, dungarees. I know, I can't believe they're back. I'm quite excited actually. These ones this was a bit of a surprise for me. I sort of wasn't expecting to see them, but there you go. There they were everywhere, and just quite traditional shape. The thing about them that I spent ages looking for is the leg shape. So they're quite straight legged. They're not too wide, they're not tapered, they're just quite straight cut. So I thought that pattern-wise, the True Bias Riley overalls work perfectly for this. You can see they've got all the lovely details that you'd expect on a pair of dungarees, the pocket on the front, the crossover detail at the back, but the key thing about them is the shape of the leg. They've got that really nice straight cut. So I thought if you're thinking dungarees, this would be a really nice option, and they're relatively new as well, so you might not have come across them. Next up in the sort of dungaree section is jumpsuits. These were everywhere again this season, which I'm always excited about. I love a jumpsuit. You can see from the picture here, they definitely have a feeling of a boiler suit about them, quite kind of 70s. Most of them, again, were made in denim or a denim look fabric or blue. None of them really have prints, so very much that sort of boiler suit feel. So I have got two fantastic options. The first one is the Style Arc Melrose boiler suit. I picked this one because I really liked the inbuilt waistband, and I felt that felt really close to quite a few of the things that I've seen. The buttons are hidden in the placket, and it's got big patch pockets on the leg. It's quite a straight cut leg, and it's not too baggy, so it kind of felt like a really good kind of middle ground. The other option I chose was the Fibre Mood Leah jumpsuit. I picked this one because it has really lovely zip up the front, which I thought was quite interesting, and I did see a lot of zipped up jumpsuits. It's got big patch pockets on the front, it's got a tie at the waist, and I really like how they've styled it actually with a polo shirt underneath. I think it means that you could then wear it kind of now while it's still a little bit chilly through into summer. And again, the leg shape on this I thought was pretty bang on. Next up, we're talking trousers now. I'm gonna say it, the cargo trouser is very much in. Anyone who lived this last time round in the 90s are probably avoiding it like myself, but they're very, very much in, and you either get on board or you don't. I think I will be skipping this trend, but the McCall's 8206 I thought were a really nice option because they feel quite elegant. I'll show you a picture and you can see they've got cargo details, but they're not too full on. They don't have loads of straps. So this to me feels like the most kind of grown-up version if you're going to tap into that nice wide leg, which is very much on trend. They're high-waisted. They look like a really lovely trouser actually. I then chose the Fibre Mood Clover trousers. Now I picked these because they have more of the traditional cargo pant details on them, lots of little pockets and interesting details and straps, and you'll get really good at top stitching if you make this pattern. It's quite a, it's not as wide leg as the McCall's one, so this one feels like sort of middle roader on the cargo front, but with lots of nice details. So if you're looking to kind of add lots of extra details onto your cargo trousers, this version probably is the one to go for. Next, we are talking tailored trousers. These were everywhere, which I was really happy to see actually, because I think they're a classic kind of shape. They're never going to go out of style. And if you kind of take the time, invest the time in kind of getting them fitting perfectly, then you can make them each season and, you know, they'll be great. So I've got two options. I picked this one, the Fibre Mood Opal trousers first, because these are the Cheats Tailors trousers. I picked them because they, if you look at the line drawing, you can see they're flat fronted, so they don't have a fly at the front. They just have a zip up the side seam, which makes them a lot more easy to make, but they look like really smart kind of tailored trousers. There were quite a lot of this styles on the high street, so I thought it was a good opportunity to kind of have a slightly more simple trouser. If you want to go the full hog, the Bella Loves Patterns Billy trousers would be the way to go. I'll show you the line drawing so you can have a look. You can see they've got pleats at the front, they're high-waisted pockets, they've got all the stuff that you'd expect in a proper pair of tailored trousers. They'd just be a really nice one to make. So if you're thinking kind of wide leg tailored trousers, these are definitely worth having a look at. Right, next, skirts. I know I quite often miss this whole category. Skirts seem to be having a moment. The thing that really is having a moment is this sort of midi denim skirt. You can see here there are three different options. Most of them have the one that's the And Other Stories one. Most of them are this style with a split up the front. I think they're actually really flattering and they'd be quite a fun thing to make. So I've got two options for you. The first one I've got is the McCall's 8149. This one is the closest to the kind of picture. It's like a pencil skirt. It's got the kind of denim details that you'd expect. You might need to lengthen it very slightly, but it's also got a split up the front. The split actually doesn't come up as high at the front, which I think maybe, you know, depending on how old you are, you might prefer that like myself. But this one is the closest in terms of the style. The other option that I thought would work really fantastically is the Fibre Mood Bay skirt. It's got this really cool like zip detail up the front. You get the split and it's got these big patch pockets, but I feel like this could be a kind of happy medium. Again, actually this, you might want to make it ever so slightly longer, but actually this one is pretty close in terms of the kind of length of it. Next in the skirt front are the mini skirts. Yes, mini skirts are very much back this season. Quite a lot of leather I saw. kind of styled with a tailored jacket. And there were also ones that had a kind of slightly asymmetric hem or wrap over detail. So I've got two really good options. The sew over at Ava skirt. This has been around forever, this pattern, and it's a really nice shape. It sits high on the waist. It's got pockets in the seam. It's quite simple, but it's a good one. It's really nicely cut. The other option I thought was the I Am Patterns Julie skirt. This has got a wrap detail on the front and it ties at the waist. I thought this kind of ticked that box for the wrap version of a mini skirt. And the version of this I like actually because it's not too short. But that one is definitely worth checking out if you are into a mini skirt. So moving on from skirts now, we're talking jackets. The first thing that I saw a lot of, again, are quilted jackets, guys. They're still here this season, which is quite exciting. In terms of fabrications, they would tend to be made out of cotton, quite a lot of denim, as you would expect, and quite a bit of print. So that's sort of the John Lewis sort of ditzy floral. Again, this featured in quite a few of the quilted jackets that I saw. So you can either go whichever way you want. If you want to make it slightly more feminine feeling, you can use the kind of florally fabric. But if you are still in the sort of muted tonals or the denim, then there's options for you as well. So I've got two really great patterns to choose from. The Grainline Studio Tamarack, as you would expect. I feel like this comes up every time I do a trends post. It's the kind of OG of quilted jackets, and I just feel like it's perfect almost. It's got that really nice rounded neckline. There aren't any fastenings at the front. There are pockets. If you wanted to go slightly off kilter, I thought that the Megan Nielsen Havia jacket is another really great variation. It's got more options to kind of tweak and change it in terms of the length, the ties, the pockets. So it's kind of picking whichever one you prefer, obviously, because that's what you're doing. But they're definitely worth having a look at together because they've got kind of lots of different things going for them. So next up, we've got tailored jackets. These are, again, very much in the season. Slightly oversized is the kind of way that they're being worn. Quite often with a matching kind of top and bottom, or worn with a pair of jeans and a simple tank top underneath. So I picked two options. The first one is the Nina Lee Richmond blazer. This to me is almost perfect. It's slightly oversized. It's got loads of really lovely tailoring details. It's classic, and it very much in terms of the length and everything was almost spot on. If you are wanting to make this and you're slightly in the beginner category, I would suggest making the second version, which is the Heather blazer from Friday Pattern Company. This looks like a tailored blazer, but actually has a lot less of the tailoring details, which means the construction is a bit easier. And it's such a popular pattern, everyone absolutely loves it. So if you are wanting to take on slightly less of a challenge, I would suggest going for this pattern over the Nina Lee one. Last but not least, in the coat category, we've got the trench coat. I know the trench coat is very much here to stay, and I feel like it comes out every spring, but it's such a classic shape. So I've got two options. I will say that they're pretty standard, the trench coats. There wasn't kind of anything, just a classic trench coat. So I kind of took that and picked two options. So the first one is the named Isla trench coat. This has been around for ages. It's great. It's double-breasted. It's got all the details that you would expect, and it's a very classic shape. Again, I've chosen a slightly easier variation. So the Barra Studio Cara trench. If I show you the line drawing of this, you can see it kind of looks like a trench, but it has a lot less detailing on it. It's quite oversized, which means fitting is going to be a lot easier. So again, if you're feeling like you want to take on a big challenge, the named one is the way to go. And if you're looking for something a little bit easier, the Barra Studio Cara trench is the one to choose. So that is it on the outerwear. So last but not least, I've got tops. Now, I usually make this into quite a big sort of topic, but to be completely honest with you, they barely featured. Everything that top based seemed to be
really good core basics. That seems to be top. Tank tops, really nice t-shirts, and that was sort of it in plain colours. So I thought I would pick 4 of my favourite top patterns, really good basics that I think would work fantastically with all kind of shapes and silhouettes for this season. So if you're looking for, there were quite a lot of oversized t-shirts. For me, the Tessuti Fabrics mica top is absolutely perfect for this. It's got raglan sleeves, it's big and boxy. You can wear it tucked into a pair of high-waisted jeans. You can wear it tucked into your high-waisted denim skirt. It's a really useful item, and it's also one that's been super, super popular. If you're looking for something a little bit more fitted, the Helen's Closet Dawson top is a really nice option. This also comes with a polo neck variation. You can make it long sleeve, short sleeved. So it's a really good core basic. You're never not going to need another t-shirt. And I feel like the shape of this and the neckline is really lovely as well. So I did see quite a lot of tank tops with a slightly racer style back. And a slightly kind of interesting kind of curve seam round the neckline and the armhole, sorry. I thought that the Paradise Patterns Bloma tank was a really fab option. You can see it here, it's got really nice, it's just quite an elegant shape, and I think it's something that you'd get a lot of wear out of, and it very much was on trend with a lot of the stuff that I saw. Again, this could be tucked into anything. You could wear this underneath the sheer top that you wear over the top. There's lots that you could do with this. So last but not least, there were quite a lot of t-shirts with a slightly kind of, it almost looks like a drop shoulder, kind of cut off at the dropped shoulder. Is that the right phrase? I feel like I've lost my last marble now and I'm talking rubbish. So this t-shirt shape, I thought the Barra Studio Eli t-shirt worked fantastically for it. It's got these little kind of grown on cap sleeves, but it gives that sort of shape. Again, tucked into a pair of jeans. You can wear it however you want, really. It's a really good, useful item. So that is it from me. I hope that was useful and you found something that you'd like to make for this spring and you're still awake, because let's be honest, congratulations if you've made it this far. Right, I'm going to let you get on with your weekend and I'll see you very soon.